Welcome to the Lose Your Cravings podcast, taking a different approach to your struggle with food, weight, and body obsession with your host, Keysa Amaro, certified integrative health coach. Welcome back, my friends. I'm Keysa Amaro, and I help ambitious women transform their negative body image and obsession with weight into body confidence so that they can show up fully in their life and their career. And hey, I am really excited to announce my Transform Your Cravings one-on-one program. If you want to take the topics we discuss on this podcast and really take it to the next level so you can stop yo-yo dieting once and for all while finding peace around food and body confidence, then I invite you to work with me through my Transform Your Cravings program. Through the program, we find the root cause of your emotional eating, overeating, and poor body confidence and transform that into a healthy relationship with food so you can leave the drama behind and maintain a healthy weight for good. If you are interested in working with me, then book a call with me where we will sit down, chat, get to know each other, and see if we are the best fit for each other. You can find my link in the show notes. Okay, on to our topic of the day. We are going to get curious about your cravings and urges to eat in order to help you reduce and even eliminate them. If you struggle with cravings, you probably feel a bit out of control around food, especially specific foods, right? For me, it was ice cream. Oh, and cinnamon rolls. Oh, and trail mix. There's a lot of them. You may eat healthy throughout the day or stay on track throughout the day, but there comes a time, maybe it's after work or after dinner, that you find yourself craving sugary food or salty food or carby food, right? You start to think about the food, how good it is, how good it would taste. You might try and resist the craving or avoid it by reading a book, watching TV, or brushing your teeth. But it seems to pop back in your head until you give in and eat the food. You might try and quench it with maybe some fruit or olives, some like a healthier version, right? But these foods just don't hit the spot. So you give in and you eat the original food you were craving. Or you might say, I'll just have one cookie. And then that one turns into two, three, four, and then the rest of the container. Because why not, right? Cravings can feel so intense and strong that we feel out of control around food. If our cravings are not quenched or quieted by avoiding them or resisting them, and if another type of healthier food doesn't work as well, or just having a little, then what is the answer, right? What if instead of resisting our cravings, like they are a bad thing and they should go away, we get curious about them, right? What if you realize that your cravings are just a sign, just your body telling you something, that you have an unmet need that is showing up as eating food or wanting to eat food, right? It's just your body craving a hit of dopamine, which is a feel good neurotransmitter in your body because you have an unmet need somewhere else in your life. When we eat emotionally, it is a sign that there is something else that we need to address. Maybe you're covering up an unwanted emotion. You might feel stressed, lonely, bored, or agitated. When you feel an unwanted emotion, you eat to cover it up. The feeling is uncomfortable, and our bodies are designed to seek pleasure, avoid pain, and do what's easiest or conserve energy. So, when you feel a negative emotion, your body has learned that food will make it feel good for the moment. You will get that hit of dopamine that creates the feeling of pleasure in your body. However, this dopamine only lasts for so long, and then the unwanted emotions will still be there once the dopamine effect has worn off. Food is instant gratification. It takes away the discomfort for a moment, but it is not lasting. So not only are we left with the original emotion, stress, agitation, loneliness, but you now have guilt or shame on top of that for eating food that you're trying not to eat or you didn't want to eat, right? Now, maybe you're craving stimulation or excitement or intimacy in your life. When we don't get our needs met, they can show up as cravings. If you're struggling with a relationship, maybe you and the other person are not connecting like you used to, and therefore you feel that you are lacking connection in your life. Your desire for connection will show up as a food craving. You receive small amounts of dopamine when you connect with someone, especially on a deeper level. Now, this dopamine isn't as intense as the dopamine hit you get from food. But if we are craving connection, we can find that dopamine hit in food, especially food that has a lot of sugar, salt, and fat in it. Thus, you find yourself craving these foods when you're lacking in another area. Maybe you are not satisfied with your life and you're searching for satisfaction in food. We often think that food will solve our problem, that food will make us feel better. Some of you were raised this way. Oh, you hurt your knee? Then have a popsicle. Your boyfriend broke up with you? Let's get some ice cream. We have grown up believing that food will help us make things better, that it will make us happy. But I am here to tell you that food will not solve your problem. It will not make you happy. Food is not your friend. It doesn't care about you. It is only giving you a temporary fix for a much deeper problem that can't be solved with food. And I will argue that if you are an emotional eater or stress eater or use food to make you feel better, that it is actually more detrimental and painful in the long run. Because not only are you left with the original emotion, stress, frustration, but then you are left with the guilt, shame, and disappointment of overeating once again, giving into your cravings and feeling out of control around food. So, I want you to get curious about your cravings. When you have a craving, I want you to ask yourself, what am I really craving? What is it that you're really craving? Under the cake, under the ice cream, under the cookies, under the chips, the wine. What is it that you really want? Now, this can be a difficult and painful question to answer. I get it. There is a reason you have been avoiding this. You've been avoiding this unmet need because it's probably painful or difficult to address. But here are your two options. One, continue to use food to cope with what is bothering you. Or two, get curious about what is under your cravings and address it without using food or any other coping strategy that produces a negative result. And if you're listening to this podcast and you've made it this far, I would assume that you don't want to use food to cope with your emotions, that you want to figure it out no matter what. So let's look at option two. Yes, this is going to be an uncomfortable process, but know that what is waiting for you on the other side is a more evolved version of you. Right? It's the you that knows how to handle negative emotions. A version of you that knows how to handle being bored, who knows how to handle stress, who knows how to handle frustration in a healthy way without using food. So, what is it that you are really craving or wanting in your life? Or you might ask, what am I missing in my life? This is where the healing starts. This is the root cause of your cravings and your emotional eating. So spend some time on this. Journal about it. What are you really craving or wanting in your life? That question right there. Spend some time journaling on it. Or what are you missing in your life? Maybe you feel like you're missing out on something. Once you find out what that is, how can you address it and support it in a way that doesn't include food? Maybe it's a shift in mindset. Maybe it's having a difficult conversation with somebody. Maybe it's allowing your emotions to be there and moving through them. Maybe it's asking for help or support from a friend or coach. When you get curious about your cravings instead of trying to resist and block them, you are able to get to the root of the craving and find out what you are really craving and wanting or missing in your life. So take some time, do the work, and see how this will transform your relationship with food, reduce your cravings, and help support you in ways that you could never have imagined. Okay, my friends, this is all I have for you today. If you like what you've heard on this podcast, I invite you to head on over to iTunes, leave an honest review. This helps us show up higher in the search results, and therefore we can reach and help more people. I'd greatly appreciate it. And join me for my next episode where I will have a very special guest for you. Caitlin from the Think Happy podcast will be on to chat about happiness. Oh my goodness. Happiness may be closer than you think. Stay tuned, my friends. Okay. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you next time.